Kosheia in her confessional said, "Oh, when I seen it was Will doing this deliberation, I was like, oh Lord, already we got Barnum Brothers here in town with all these clowns here with these fake ass chains, and they got the fakest one up here doing this." I was like, dang girl. Tell me you don't want to be on the show without telling me you don't want to be on the show anymore. Girl, if you don't like the men, go home. Make up a fake emergency the way Lynn did and just go on, pack it up and go home, girl. You ain't got to be there. Damn. So anywho, hey everybody, welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl, Brandy Yvonne. Here on my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. Y'all, it's Friday night, so we got to talk about OWN's Ready to Love, y'all, down to Dallas, Fort Worth, whatever you want to call it. This is season 9, episode 5, Pajama Jam. Or Pajama Party, whatever it was called. Okay, before we get into it, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, okay? Subscribe to the channel. Share this video where you like to share your content. You can tag me on Twitter at Brandy Yvonne. And comment down below. Let me know what y'all thought of this episode. I thought the episode was funny. I was laughing like majority of the time. I said this season of Ready to Love, we probably not going to have no love, but they are entertaining, okay? It is definitely entertaining. But we're not going to have no love. It's fine, though. We haven't had much love on Ready to Love in a long time, so we are used to it by now. But it's still, fun to watch. Anyway, let's get into it. So basically the men meet up at Tommy's lounge, and Justin comes in. I think Dominique was like, who was that man? Stranger danger. And so the rest of the fellas who didn't get to meet Justin got to meet him. We finally get more scenes with Dominique because we ain't been seeing him last episode or two. I'm assuming he's going to make it to the end with somebody though. Not sure who though. Anyway. So they meet Justin. Jonathan makes this joke like, "Oh, you ain't talking none of my connections, are you?" And he's all, I might be. So anyway, Nephew Tommy comes in. He lets the fellas know that Lynn decided to exit the process due to her family emergency. Chaz said in his confessional that that sucked for him because he thought they were building a good connection, but she got to do what she got to do. So then he lets them know that this week, he wants them to focus on intimacy, but also chemistry, making chemistry important. So they're going to have an old-fashioned pajama jam party. So they're going to go to the house and have a party. Y'all know when they have these parties at the house, like, I think the one Miami season, they had the one on the boat. The Potomac season with Laverne and Sabrina and all them, that season's little party, that was when it really got juicy. Okay, so at the party, that's when it really, the party and the getaway is when it go off. Okay, so anywho, the party seems early in the season to me. Is it just me? Well, they had the brunch the third episode, we're on episode 5. I don't know. To me, it felt a little early for this party, but maybe it's the right timing. I don't know. Anywho, but before we get to the party, we did have 2 dates. So we had a date with Laron and Vanessa, and then we also had a date with Dominique and Alexis. Let's talk about Dominique and Alexis first. So they go to this place where they get stretched. Now, I'm guessing this is the new reality TV thing. We've done the paint. We've done the whole yoga thing, goat yoga. They do the same candle making. They do the same things on every reality show. A workout. So this time, they are doing the stretching. I saw them do that on Real Housewives of Potomac. They're doing it here. I said, okay, that's the new thing we doing on the dates now. All right. Anyway, or on the reality shows, I should say. So they go to get stretched. Now, something I do want to try. Let me know if y'all have tried it in the comments. So Dominique and Alexis go to get stretched. Alexis says she's very flexible, but she can tell Dominique is not. So she was laughing, looking at him getting stretched. So they were sitting and talking after the stretching. And so they're talking about the process, and she's just talking about how she's dating with intention. Like, basically, if you can't add to my life, then add to her piece, then she don't want it. And I'm with you, girl, on that one. And so then he said, he understands that as well. He said he's not big on like words of affirmation. He didn't grow up in his family saying, I love you and all that stuff and giving affirmations, but his family just kind of showed love by their actions. And so she liked everything he was saying. And she said that he reminded her of her dad and how her dad is very quiet. He doesn't say a lot, but he definitely shows his love through his actions. So then, like, when he does say something, the family is like, okay, be quiet, daddy is speaking. And so then he's like, okay, I like that. I'm gonna put that on my Instagram. I'm gonna change that to my Instagram, daddy is speaking. I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so I think Alexis is more identified because she's a more, of a daddy's girl, I'm assuming. I don't know though. So they were talking about all that. And they seem to have a good conversation. Oh, he said that, he was just complimenting her on how warm and welcoming she is. And he said, you a pimp to me. No, he said a player, not a pimp. Sorry. He was like, you a player. You got a player in you. And so then she was like, what? And then he's like, I don't mean that in a bad way. He means it in a way that, like, she can multitask and make many people feel comfortable at the same time. And he said he thinks that's also a good trait to be a mom. And she said, okay, I like that. She said, I like you, Mr. Dominique, or spending time with you, or you cool guy, something like that. And in her confessional, in the beginning, she said she feels really comfortable with him, like she could really open up with him. I was like, girl, you ain't been with him. We ain't seen you on a date with him, but maybe they've been talking off camera. Anyway, I felt like also this episode was edited very weirdly, because some of the confessionals, you could tell they must have done them later on, because the stuff they were saying wasn't quite matching up with where we are now. And I'll explain when we get to the elimination part at the end. So then let's jump over to wherever they was at the lake or whatever with Laron and Vanessa. Now these two I would never expect to go on a date, but I'm glad Vanessa is looking around beyond Chaz, because I don't want to see Vanessa get kicked off the show just because she only connected with Chaz. But that's the only person I can see her really with, and maybe William. And they do go on a date next week, so maybe we'll see something there. So Laron wants to go on a paddle boat doing yoga. He wants to do yoga on a paddle boat. Now, when he said that, I was like, is that something you really do, Laron? I was like, is that for you, Laron? Now, I'm not trying to shame him about his size or nothing. There are a lot of people who are very flexible. It doesn't have nothing to do with their size. They have good balance and all that. But he just didn't give me tease like he had good balance. Like, he don't to me look like he had good balance. But I'm learning through working out that, one of the keys to good balance is your core. You got to have a strong core. You got to hold in that core, okay? So when he was on the thing about the fall, I was like, use your core, Laron. Use your core, and you will stand up there. But he did get up there. He was shaking a little bit, but he got up there. So kudos to you, Laron. Vanessa, she was saying, something about he, was struggling, but then she fell. And then she's like, it's really hard to do yoga on there. Yeah, I don't know why they decided to do that. They falling all in the water. They didn't have on life jackets or nothing. I was like, oh, no. Do not take me to do that on no date. You can take me to go work out, but don't take me in no water to do no paddle boat yoga. We not doing that. And that's another thing they doing on all the reality shows too, doing yoga on a mat in the water, because they did that on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills a few seasons ago. Anyway, moving on. Laron and Vanessa do sit down to talk, and she's just talking about navigating the process, how there's so many options, and she asked him how he's doing. And so he said he got to profile everybody, figuring out what they like, they don't like, all that. So she said, well, what about you? Do you feel like you got to show another side? Because all the ladies been saying, you a party boy and all that. And he's like, man, like, I'm tired of everybody saying that. He was like, that's not what it is. He feels like everyone putting this narrative on them. However, Laron, when you came on our screen, that was the first thing you said, is that you like to party from Wednesday to Sunday. So you declared that in your life. You spoke that over your life. So now, what do you think everybody's going to say? Like, you're the one that made that narrative about yourself. I don't like when people get on these shows and said that we created this narrative for them that they started themselves. You said it first before we could even say it. We don't know you party until you told us you party like that. Anywho, he doesn't like being known as a party boy now. Okay, we get it. Anyway, he said, let me explain myself. Like, I work from home. So I'm at home all the time. The only times I, get to go out and socialize is when I go out with my friends. We go to lounges and we eat and things like that. He said, I'm not going hard, every day like that or nothing like that. And so she was like, okay, that makes sense. And so she was saying in her confessional that, like, he's single man. He out there doing what he want to do. His life may not align with her life because she has kids and responsibilities. It's not. But I would never put Vanessa with Laron. No. She's way more mature than him. So, or she comes across that way, I should say. So anyway, he said that, you know, he doesn't want people just seeing that side of him. That's only like a small percentage of him. He has other things he does, other things going on. I'm like, well, tell us what they are, Laron. And so he was saying like, oh, he doesn't want, you know, her feelings about him to be pushed on the other women. Like if she has a problem with him, she doesn't want it to go like that. And then all the women are thinking, you know, negative about him. And I was like, what? Like Vanessa ain't about to go run and tell the other ladies. They all already said you're a party boy. So I didn't understand what he was saying, but whatever. Anyway, let's get down to this pajama party because that's what we really came for. Okay, so everybody come in their pajamas. They silk pajama sets. Some people was looking cool. What's his name? Alonzo had on his bonnet. I said, come through. He had the long bonnet for the braids. Them things be marking up your pillows. I had to stop wearing them long bonnets. Or at least I need to maybe find better quality because you know I got mine from Amazon. Anywho, the day was cute. Chaz was looking very plain, okay. But yeah, everybody was looking cute in their pajamas. I wouldn't mind going to a little pajama jam. Anyway, so everybody comes to the house. William's, you know, looking forward to connecting more with his connections. Kosheia says in the confessionals that she is not avoiding speaking to anyone at the party. You know, if there's smoke, she's all here for it. Like basically, if she got to get into it, she gonna get into it, okay? And the producer was like, "Oh, that's gangster." I was like, "I guess." So anyway, you know, they pumping Kosheia up to make these scenes. That's what they doing. So we see everybody mixing and mingling at the party. Now Laron lets us know that he feels like Kosheia been moving different, like she been real mysterious and secretive lately, and you know he been texting her and she been being vague and things like that. So he don't really understand. She ain't been saying like who else she connecting with, but then he see her smiling all in their faces and stuff, and I'm like, well, ain't that what you doing, Laron? Anywho, now at the top of the party, also we see everybody take a shot. We see Jonathan sit down with Alexis outside. And Alexis is like, okay, the shots is flowing. It's going to be a good time. Jonathan said he feels really comfortable around Alexis. So he sits there and lets her know, I'm going to get straight to the point with you, girl. I really, really like you. I'm really connecting with you. You make me feel really comfortable. And, I just want to let you know right here, right now, like, I really like you. I want to be with you. She's like, oh my God, thank you. Okay, yeah, okay, awesome, yeah. I was like, girl, you don't like that man back like that. Like, Jonathan was doing the most. So then, I'm glad he's making this claim, but let me tell you, Alexis low-key reminds me of Courtney from DC, but not as, maybe not as assertive, but she's very much like, she gonna have all the men's, okay? She gonna have all the men's, and I don't think she gonna choose any of them, okay? She gonna pull a Sabrina from Potomac. That's what she about to do. So anywho, he was like, yeah, I want to be with you. I want to do all this stuff. She's like, okay, yeah. And then he was like, so she said in her confessional, like, she likes Jonathan, but she wants to see if he has another side to him that's not so serious and uptight, or serious, I think was the word she used. Anyway, I was like, girl, what you want him to be doing? So then, no, she said he was reserved. I think that was the word she used. So, she was like, okay, but do you have another side to you? Like, he said he's very laid back and chill. He's like, how are you the same way? Like, how are you? She said, no. And then she's like, well, no, I could be laid back and chill. I was like, no, you not laid back and chill, girl. Your first answer was the right answer. And we saw that last week. Okay, so yeah, you ain't laid back and chill. Alexis is definitely ready to pop off when it's time to pop off, okay? So, they got done talking. And so we saw Laron and Rashina and some other people playing Jenga. We saw Chaz and Vanessa talking. Vanessa said somebody said she looked tired, somebody said she looked nice. He's like, they lying either way because you look beautiful. Like, okay. We saw, what's her name? Kosheia talking to Justin, and she was like, yeah, I told all the ladies that you were really cute and you're a nice guy. She's like, we just gotta get some meat on your bones though. She said, we just gotta feed you real good. Cause she look like she be cooking them good meals to pull her man. Don't she look like that? So then he's like, what you mean? Like, I was 175 pounds, I lost some weight or something, he said. And she asked him how tall he was. He said 5'9" or 5'11" or something like that. He don't look 5'9". 5'9" is short, in my opinion, for a man. So he don't look that short on TV, but he could be because it's TV. So Laron, he's watching her now. They shown us that Laron is watching this girl like a hawk. Okay. So he's like, man, she said she wasn't connected with these other dudes and she over here smiling in their faces and all this. I'm like, okay. We see you, Laron, hugging on Rashina, talking about you don't be liking other people too much. Like, we saw you hugging on Maya. We about to get into that. Like, so what's the problem? We also saw, what's her name? Rashina and Alonzo doing the kid and play dance. At some point, Nephew Tommy, and I'm going to go out of order, y'all. Just follow me. It was a party, okay? So we can't go scene by scene. Nephew Tommy came in and let everybody know, the men are in control this week. And one of the ladies will be leaving tonight. So you'll be going home in your pajamas. So you're going to be embarrassed. Anywho, we see everybody continuing to mix and mingle. Now, Will was mad since last week because everybody just said he's sleeping on the floor in the pallet. And he said that's not what he doing. So, he is on his revenge tour. So he going around asking all the ladies like, yeah. Somebody said I was sleeping on the pallet on the floor. Can you believe that? So they was just kind of looking like, really? Okay. Yeah, nobody was really giving him energy. And then finally Patrice did. He's like, every lady he asked was silent, but the one that responded, he knew that was it, and that was Patrice. I'm like, you already knew it was Patrice because you had that conversation with her. So I was like, why he had to, like, he got to figure it out? I hate when they do that on Ready to Love. Like, you already knew who said it. So then he's talking to Patrice, and then she said in the confessional, like, the way he said it on the phone had her thinking he was sleeping on the floor. So that's what she heard. That's what she understood. Like, she don't know how else to take it. So he's like, nah, sleeping on the floor. He said, I got all these homes. I got $1 million. Why they play that cha-ching noise? He said, I got all this and that. Like, sleeping on the floor. Like, no, you totally misunderstood that. You misinterpreted that. And she was like, I don't know how else I could interpret it. Like, that's what you said. And he's like, no, you had that wrong. She was like, well, I wouldn't want you to be sleeping on the floor. He's like, I'm not sleeping on the floor. She was like, well, that ain't it. And so she was like, why is he, coming at me like this? She looked very irritated and annoyed. I don't blame her. And, okay, I have two theories about this. My first theory is, number one, you had to have said it because she ain't going to just say out the blue, oh, yeah, he was sleeping on the floor. So you had to have said those words, right? You said the words. But my other theory is, did he say it in a jokingly way? Like, oh man, I'm so tired. I'm gonna just throw this pallet and sleep on the floor. Like, how did he say it? That's the only, maybe exception I can give him. But he said it regardless of all that. He had to have said it because if she heard that, that's what you said. She ain't gonna make it up. Anywho. I was like, Will, please stop. Talking about he got all this money. Okay, we get it. You ain't sleeping on the floor, allegedly. Anywho, we do see all the cast taking pictures in the photo booth. They had like a real cute, real Ready to Love photo booth. I was like, we never get to see them doing the photo booth. I don't remember ever seeing that. So that was pretty cool to see them taking their pictures. We did see William and Maya taking pictures together. She said she had fun taking pictures with him. He's like a big... he's a big, handsome guy, made her feel like a little woman. I understand that, Maya. I get what you mean. And she was letting him hug on her and stuff. I think they got a little connection. We'll see. He said, he feels really good with her and comfortable with her. We also saw him inside talking with Meeka. And they basically established that they just going to be friends and homies and that's it, okay? That they didn't really have much of a connection between themselves. Now, we also saw Meeka talking to Justin. Meeka said that she didn't really know much about Justin, but she wanted to get to know him further because he gives kind of goofy vibes, but he is cute. Now, I will say Justin does seem like a cute, nice guy. And I hope we're not going to find out some bad stuff about him because so far, I like Justin, okay? he does seem genuine so far. So they sit down and talk. She asks him, like, what does he do? She says he's a PE teacher. And she's like, is that the only subject you taught is PE? He's like, yeah, well, I went to school for it. I was like, girl, what? I don't know, Meeka. Is it just me or something slightly off about Meeka? I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. The way she asks questions, I don't know. It's not very, like, romantic or something. I don't know. The way she's just there. Like, I don't know. She doesn't, like, give the vibe of she's trying to make a connection or something. I don't know. It's the way she communicates is weird to me. So anyway, he's like, yeah, you went to school to be a PE teacher. Like, I know everybody doesn't know how teaching works. Let me back that up. But whatever your credential is in, that's what your credential is in. I can't talk. So, like, for me, for example, I'm a special education teacher. So I can't go and teach Algebra 2 because that is not my credential. That's all I'm going to teach is special education because that's my credential. So it don't work like that unless he has multiple credentials. And it depends on the state because every state is different. But here in California, your credential is your credential. You either teach a single subject, which is high school, or you teach multiple subject, which is elementary and some middle school, or, you know, at special education is, you know, another credential. Anyway, that's just a little lesson for y'all. So anyway, they're talking. She asked him if he had kids. He said no. You know, at this point at 34, he's okay. She asked him, well, did you want more kids? Because, you know, Meeka's thing is she ain't having no more kids for nobody else. And so he said, you know, at this point in his life, he's okay whether he has kids or not. And in her confessional, she's all relieved, like, oh, thank God, finally a man that doesn't want more kids because she ain't having no more kids. So she says she has an 18-year-old and a 6-year-old. The boy is 6, the girl's 18. He's like, oh, you got you a little lady. Now, Meeka, girl, you don't look like you should have no 18-year-old. Girl, you look amazing. Well, I mean, she was only 36 years old as well. So, and we found out earlier in the episode she started having kids at 18. And we will talk about that scene as well. I got to back up. So, he tells her, you know, she looking good. You know, she came there just to impress. And she's like, oh, am I looking good? Am I looking like, did she say she's looking like a rich woman or something like that? He's like, oh, yeah, you definitely looking like that. Okay, now Dominique and Meeka had a conversation in the beginning. I don't think we discussed that. So, he was mentioned, she asked him, did he have friends there? He said he did have a few friends there from childhood. He's never lost any friends, but he lost more so his relationship. She's like, why is that? And so he said he just wasn't ready. He wasn't like putting in the level of like effort that he needed to put in because he wasn't ready, but now he's ready. He wants to have kids. That's really important to him. And so she said, you know, she doesn't want to have any more kids, and she thought like maybe I would like love somebody so much that I would have kids for them, but she said she hasn't been in that situation yet. So they're kind of like at an impasse. And so he said in his confessional that like, she doesn't want to have more kids, and he does. So, you know, this may not work, but he still wants to try to pull back a few layers. But you can tell he was disappointed about it as well. I think Dominique should move around. I don't think Meeka would have more kids for him. I don't think that. No. Meeka might need her an old and rich man, okay? That's what she may need. She need a zaddy. A zaddy with some money. That's what Meeka need. Excuse me. Okay. Now, let's talk about Laron and Kosheia, then we'll get to the game. So, now Laron, you know, he sees Kosheia sitting down talking to Jonathan. And Jonathan and her talking about how they both like black, but they want to put some pizzazz on it. And he talking about her nails and all that. And he would wear black every day if he could and blah, blah, blah. So then Laron comes over there and he's like, oh, hey, Jonathan, you know, can I interrupt you? I need to steal this lady from you. So then Kosheia tries to grab his arm and hold on to his arm. And he's like, no, don't touch me right now. And I was like, oh, okay. So they go sit down in the dining room or the kitchen or somewhere to talk. And he's like, you know, before we came here, you know, our communication was strong and solid, but then getting closer to coming here in the last week or so, you know, you've been kind of falling off, you know, you've been smiling in these dudes' faces. I see you over here smiling in everybody's faces, and then you haven't been communicating with me the way you usually have, and I don't understand what's going on. And he's like, I'm not bringing this up because, you know, it's an elimination. He's like, I'm still going back for you when it comes to the men. Like, I would go to the moon for you. I was like, oh, go to the moon for her? Okay. So he was like, however, like, you know, you moving different now. So, because she was like, you are correct. Like, we were communicating like that before. Now it's different. You are very much correct. She was like, yeah, I'm acting up. Okay. You know, he was like, you know, I'm just trying to figure out like what's good. Cause he's in his question. He's like, he feel like, is this girl playing him or is she really here for him? And he's like, I told you from day, you know, I thought from day one, me and you were locked in. And so she was like, well, you know, I have to let you experience the process. She's like, as much as I want to lock you and keep you to myself, like, I can't do that. And then he was like, well, that's what I want you to do. And then she was like, okay, if that's the case, then we need to leave the process right now. And you should. And so, you know, Laron ain't about to leave the process right now. Stop playing, Laron. You playing, Laron. Both of y'all playing, first of all. And both of y'all are a mess. So, then... Maya, I mean, is that her name? Maya at some point came into the room, and I think Chaz is already sitting next to Kosheia, and I think Jonathan came and sat down, and then Maya came in. Now, Maya came in and broke up the scene, okay? So, Maya came in there and said, yeah, Laron, I got a bone to pick with you because you were calling me greedy and stuff, and then you were calling me fat, and then he was like, I might have said you had a fatty, but I didn't say you were a fatty. And then, cause she is like, okay, she's trying to have a conversation with him. So then Maya is like, oh yeah, you a party boy, Laron, you a party boy. And so then Laron was like, what? Like, be quiet. And so then Laron gets up, goes around the table, because mind you, this is a long table, and Maya is on that side of the table, right? He gets up, goes all around the table to go mess with Maya for calling him a party boy. And I don't know if he was kissing on her or what he was doing, but he's like, nah, stop, and trying to cover her mouth and all that. Then so Koseia's looking pissed. And in her confessional, she's like, see, he didn't even need to do all that. Like, what is all this? Like, I'm dealing with a child, right? And so then he came back and said, now, and she was like, see, all that right there didn't need to happen. Like, if you're so focused on me, then how did, you know, Maya take your attention away from me? Now, mind you, when Maya came over there, she's like, Kosheia. So I was like, oh, this is the best. And so then he's like, oh, well, she's assassinating my character. She's assassinating my character. I think that Laron likes Maya more than he likes Kosheia, number one. Okay? Because the fact that Maya was able to distract him that easily from Kosheia, oh, man, that was like... That scene was, it was like crazy and beautiful and like, there's a bunch of stuff happening at one time. Because, you know, there's sometimes people that come in the room and can really take your attention. Yeah, that was crazy. Anyway, but Laron, you did wrong. And so then Kosheia was like, you know what, Laron, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Laron's like, nah, man, because you over here, you know, you playing the other guys' faces and you doing all this and that. And then you know, you not really, you know, on me like you supposed to be and all this. And she's like, you know what, Laron, whatever you want to paint on me, you could put on me. I will just soak here and be in whatever you're saying about me. And then he's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And I was like, girl, how did we get so dramatic about it? So then he was like, what are you saying? Like, what are you even talking about? No. She's like, whatever you're going to say to me, just say to me. Like, I'll take it. It's fine. And he's like, I'm just trying to talk to you. She's like, no, you're talking at me. You're talking at me. And so then Laron's like, man, whatever. And so then she's like, no. And then she starts eating. And then Chaz is like, come on, man. You can see she's upset. And I was like, Chaz, why are you in it? So then Laron was like, man, get out of here with this. So Laron is walking away. So Chaz is like, nah, man, come back. You're closing yourself off if you walk away. Come back, brother. Come back. And so then, because she's like, no. As she's eating her food. No. This is just too much. I'm not this kind of person. Oh, my gosh. And scene. So Laron was like, this is too much for this BS. He left. And Chaz is over there picking up the pieces. Okay, this is my thing. First of all, Kosheia, girl, why are you crying? It was very much giving acting. I'm sorry, because you were sitting there eating and fine, and I felt like she worked herself up to that. Like, the way she was like, okay, I'll just sit here and take whatever you take. It. Like, no. First of all, Laron, you over here playing and smiling in Maya's face the same way she's smiling in Justin and Chaz and Jonathan's face. So, like, what are y'all doing or saying? Y'all here in the process now. What y'all could have done is pulled a Joy and Clifton and be like, okay, we're going to ride this thing together, but we're going to also make sure we connect with other people enough to make it to the end. That's what y'all should have done if y'all gonna do this. But all this, like, oh, I see you talking to other people and all that. Like, that's the point of the show. We're only on episode 5. Like, what are you talking about? Like, Kosheia is moving in the process the way she's supposed to move. Now, if Kosheia is, not communicating with him in a certain way that he's expecting, and she's saying that's her man. Okay, I see the problem there as well. But Laron, you over there running across the table to play with Maya. So what is the difference? Like, what is the difference between what Laron and Kosheia are both doing at this party? Like, what is the difference? Anyway, I wouldn't be crying over no Laron either. I'm sorry. Won't do it. If her tears are real, I'm sorry, girl, but it's very much giving acting to me. Okay, so they went to commercial, they came back. Will said, I see what's going on with LaRon. Like, I wouldn't play with Kosheia like that, because she gonna take something and blow it out of proportion and be telling lies and stuff. I was like, ooh. So then everybody clocking everybody this time. Alexis and him were sitting down, and he said he wanted a drink from the kitchen. And she's like, I'll go get it for you. But she looked in there and seen Kosheia in there. She's like, but And so Will said, yeah, look, he better be careful with that one, because, she deserves an Oscar or Emmy for her performances. I was like, Will's kind of right. Yeah. So anyway, Laron goes outside. Chaz goes outside to talk to him as well. As Justin comes up, and Chaz is like, man, you got to listen. Like, I used to be just like you. I wouldn't listen. I would be dismissive. I'd be like, oh, you just moody. It's the time of the month. It's this and that. I would never listen and take the woman seriously. And then, us as black men, we got to do better than that. We got to listen to our black women. We got to do this and that. I was like, okay, Chaz. Okay. He's doing the work of Nephew Tommy this season. So anyway, Justin came. He said he was late to the process, but he could see, like, if Kosheia had a reaction, and, that really meant something. And Chaz is like, she reacted that way because there's something there. She feels for you. So Laron at first was like, it's BS, but he said he understood. He said in his confessional that he let his ego get in the way of how he was moving, basically. And he couldn't, see nothing else. All right. So I think now we got through all that stupid drama. And we get to the game. Okay. Now, Dominique says, let's play Truth and Sexy. It's like Truth and Dare, but except you do truth. Or sexy, you do something, sexy. Now, Alonzo's like, yes, we could do that and not, go to jail tonight. Because he don't want no issues, okay? So, I was like, okay, Ready to Love, they're going to play these stupid games at these parties and win stupid prizes every single time. They always do this stupid Truth and Dare at the parties. That's how things got messed up in Potomac when Laverne said, let's play this game. They finna do the same thing this time. Here we go. Okay. I don't remember them playing a game in Dallas, though, last season. Let me know if y'all remember that or not at the hoedown. They did the little line dance with me. I don't remember them playing no game, though. Anywho, maybe because they wasn't down to the house. So they did Truth and Sexy. So I think Chaz went first. He said Truth to Patrice. Patrice said she doing all truth because she ain't going to do nothing on this TV, to make her look crazy. I said, I know that's right, girl. So he pulls her, makes her sit down on the cushion thing, kneels in front of her and says, Patrice, who's the sexiest man here? And she was like, it's you, of course. She said in her confessional, she thinks all the women can agree. Chaz is the sexiest man there. She's like, I think even some of the men could agree. Why did they pan to Alonzo? Y'all wrong for that, production. Y'all wrong for that. So anyway, Chaz is a good looking guy, though. He really is. I like Chaz. So, then I think we had Maya had to do like a sexy dance in front of somebody that she's feeling the least. So she went and twerked in front of Justin. Justin was like, that's what she doing if she don't like me. Like, what's she gonna do if she do like me? Like, he like, I'm winning. I know that's right. And Will had to go kiss the feet of a person that's his top connection. So Justin was like, I think you need to lick the feet. So Alexis was like, well, please don't lick my foot. So he got down there and played with her feet, right? Jonathan said in his confessional that Will did not kiss her feet. He was like, he kissed his hand and touched the back of her foot. He did not kiss her feet. I was like, So Alexis said he kissed the foot that had the Band-Aid. I was like, oh, that is gross. Okay, so then it was Jonathan's turn. So they said, okay, Jonathan, truth or sexy? Of course he says sexy. Side note, did y'all see how Maya had her hand on William's knee when they're sitting down playing this stupid game? Anywho. So Jonathan chooses sexy. They told him he had to go whisper sweet nothings in the ear of the person he feels is his top connection, right? So Jonathan let us know in the confessional that he had already been drinking a lot that night. He had to get ahead of the devil. He definitely had to get ahead of the devil because he's messing up in this scene. Horrible. So he said he wanted to shake things up in the scene. He wanted to break up the scene. So he grabs Alexis and pulls her into his lap to have her straddling him. She looks terrified and uncomfortable. I don't know if he was trying to kiss her. I seen his hand on the back of her head like he was pulling her in real close. I couldn't even tell if he was whispering in her ear. I don't know if he was trying to kiss her. I don't know what he's trying to do. It looked very, very uncomfortable. Everyone is screaming and hollering. Eventually, Alonzo and Dominique and other men and Will come to pull her off of him. And she said she was just very uncomfortable. She was ready for that to end. Now, I don't want to say, Alexis, girl, we told you so, lesson learned. But I thought, you didn't have no issues with the men making you feel uncomfortable. I thought you weren't the one to play with. I hate this happened to you, but I thought you said you wasn't the one to play with, that they knew not to play with you. Because Jonathan clearly played with you in this time. I'm just saying. I hope she's okay. I'm not trying to, make her feel worse than she already feels or nothing like that. I'm just reminding her what she said last week, that the men know not to play with her. But they play with you tonight, girl. I'm just saying men are going to do that, okay? And I just didn't like how she made it like Kosheia couldn't have a different experience than her. That's the only thing I didn't like. Anywho, even though Kosheia got lots to her too. Okay, we ain't taking nothing from it, but I'm just saying, men will cross the lines with whoever they gonna cross the line with, okay? Anyway, thank God Nephew Tommy came in. I was ready to be like, Nephew Tommy, let me tell you what they just did. But nobody told it. So then, they sent the ladies out and the men deliberated. So he's like, okay, who wants to go first? Jonathan raised his hand. I was like, do they raise their hand in deliberations? So he said, Alexis, I just feel so comfortable with her. I feel so great around her. She's amazing. Will was like, is this dude for real? He said, after you just try to do the little pretty Ricky moves with her, he's like, anyway, he ain't sweating that because he knows him and Alexis has a strong connection. He also said Alexis. I was like, both of y'all delusional, but anyway. Dominique also said Alexis, he feels really good and comfortable around her as well. Alexis does have a way of making all the men feel comfortable. She definitely does. What's his name? Laron, I think, said Kosheia. He said they had a little exchange tonight. He really felt something. Chaz said Vanessa, she communicates what her expectations are and what she wants and all that good stuff. And William might have said Maya if he said anything at all. Alonzo said Patrice. Side note, when Jonathan pulled in Alexis, Alonzo in his confession was like, dude, are you serious? After I didn't went through what I did with the ladies, he was like, with the whole sexual thing, you want to be careful with that. Basically, he didn't already, got in trouble for this, so you better, tread lightly, Jonathan. I was cracking over that part. So anyway, okay, so Nephew Tommy says, okay, who are y'all not feeling? So Kosheia's name did come up for a lot of the men. Will said he didn't like how he's hearing she's talk about the men, saying they ain't got it going on and all this stuff. So a lot of the men said Meeka, they get homie friend vibes from her. I think Laron was the only man that said Alexis. Will's like, I know you lying. So then he's like, I see she's good for you, but I just don't have a connection with her. Somebody also said Vanessa, and I believe that was it. All right, so then we get down to the deliberation time, right? So Will gets to do the deliberations. I was like, I know he happy as hell he get to do this. So Kosheia in her confessional said, oh, when I seen it was Will doing his deliberation, I was like, oh, Lord, already we got Barnum Brothers here in town with all these clowns here with these fake ass chains, and they got the fakest one up here doing this. I was like, dang, girl. Tell me you don't want to be on the show without telling me you don't want to be on the show anymore. Girl, if you don't like the men, go home. Make up a fake emergency the way Lynn did and just go on, pack it up and go home, girl. You ain't got to be there. Damn. So anywho, Meeka also gets called to the carpet. So Meeka and Kosheia. So Will says, Meeka, you have a good vibe to you. All the men like you. We feel like you have a story that hasn't been told yet. I feel the same way. He said, however, for the negative parts, the men are all saying they get a homie friend vibe from you. Now, Meeka in her confessional sits up there and says, like, oh, I know when he said the homie friend thing that the men did not say that. I know that only came from him. I was like, well, girl, we just watched all the men say it in deliberations. And you and William also just established that it's a homie friend vibe. So everybody said it, not just him. And so also Kosheia was making it like, oh, she knows, Will's up there, so he's the one that's gonna be up there trying to be sending her home. But I was like, it's a group decision. Like, Will can't be the only one to send you home. Like, that's not how it works. Yes, Will has his faults, but the way they were like making it like it was all Will's fault they were up there, I was like, it was a group decision, ladies. Like, what is the problem here? So anyway. And I'm not a Will fan. I think he should have went home after Lamar. But, yeah. I'm like, girl, we watched the tape, what all the men just said about y'all. Anywho, Kosheia, all the men like you. You're real good energy. We vibe with you. However, we're not liking what we're hearing, what's being said amongst the men and the women, the behavior and all the different things that are being said behind the scenes. And so she said when he was talking, she just let it go in one ear and out the other. She's like, I know he's the one that has me up here for elimination. I was like, girl, they all got you up there for elimination because of your behavior. So then Will was like, okay, we got a tough decision to make. He looks down. He dragging it out. Nephew Tommy's like, everybody take a deep breath. Oh, side note, this was another thing Alonzo said that pissed me off. Now, Alonzo, in the deliberations, he said Kosheia's name as well. He said, me and her had a misunderstanding about something. And, I tried to really go to bat for her. And I just didn't like the way it was handled. I was like, Alonzo, you were dead wrong in that situation with Kosheia. Like, what are you talking about? Like, Alonzo's another delusional one. There's a lot of delusional men this season, okay? And some of the ladies are delusional too. The whole season is delusional at this point. And they a joke. But they entertaining. Anyway, back to deliberation. So now, Nephew Tommy said, everybody take a deep breath. Okay. And the woman who is not ready to love is. And then it's a stupid cliffhanger. I said, we did not need this cliffhanger. Now, Meeka in her confessional said that she had already been in the bottom a few times. So she was nervous about elimination. And that to me made me believe that she probably did not get eliminated. Because I was like, girl, we haven't seen you in the bottom. Meeka hasn't been in the bottom before. This is the first time we've seen Meeka in the bottom. So that led me to believe that confessional was filmed like way ahead of this episode. So that's why I said the editing was kind of weird and the timing with the confessional. So I think Kosheia gets eliminated. They didn't show anybody in the previews because I looked real hard. But I think Kosheia is going to be the one going home. But y'all let me know who y'all think is going to go home in the comments. Do you think it will be Kosheia or Meeka? Which lady do you think deserves to stay? Anyway, y'all, join me back here tomorrow night. We'll be talking about Love and Marriage DC. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll talk to y'all again soon. Bye.